In national news, His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa received at Safriya Palace poet Muhammad Hadi Al Halwaji, who presented His Majesty with an artwork with a poem written on it, made on the occasion of the Silver Jubilee of His Majesty's accession to the throne. Al Halwaji also briefed His Majesty on the artwork, which was drawn by artist Abbas Al Musawi. His Majesty expressed thanks and appreciation to the efforts exerted in making this artwork, which reflects the creativity of poet Al Halwaji and artist Al Musawi, wishing them both further successes.
أتيت وكنت على الموعد لترقى رقيك في المشهد، وجئت وقد كان يوم اللقاء بداية عهد جديد ندي، وفي عزمة عزمات الرجال بكم في مسيرتها تقتدي. بدأت المسيرة في همة وشمرت عن ساعد أيدي، وبادرت للأمر مستلهما كريم الأرومة والمحتد، برأي سديد رشيد حكيم يشير إلى النقطة الأبعد، وقلب تدرع عند الصعاب بعزم لدى العسر لم يخمد، وجاوزت فيه شموخ الطموح برأي على السهل لم يجمد، فأصبح كل بعيد المنال قريبا نلامسه باليد، و25 قد أكملت من الخير والسعد والسؤدد، تشير إلى تلكم المنجزات بفخر إلى الواقع الأرغد، وتهنئة من صميم الفؤاد يقدمها الشعر يا سيدي، وتهنئة من صميم الفؤاد يقدمها الشعر يا سيدي.
His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa, the Honorary President of the Royal Humanitarian Foundation, RHF, has ordered the distribution of Eid al-Adha gift to all widows and orphans of the RHF. His Majesty the King requested the RFH, led by the representative of His Majesty the King for Humanitarian Work and Youth Affairs, His Highness Sheikh Nasser bin Hamad Al Khalifa, to oversee and follow up on the distribution of the gift to all beneficiaries. His Highness Sheikh Nasser thanked His Majesty the King for his fatherly care for the RHF-sponsored families and keenness to share the joy of Eid al-Adha with them, praising the royal constant directives to provide those families with all requirements of a stable and decent life. His Highness extended congratulations and best wishes to His Majesty the King, His Royal Highness the Crown Prince Prime Minister, Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, as well as the Arab and Islamic nation on Eid al-Adha, praying to Allah Almighty to bless His Majesty with good health and to protect Bahrain and its people. His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa issued Decree 54 for this year, appointing an Undersecretary at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, following the proposal of the Minister of Foreign Affairs and the approval of the Cabinet. The decree stipulates the appointment of Dr. Isa Nasser Nuaimi as Undersecretary at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for Consular and Administrative Affairs. Under the patronage of the representative of His Majesty the King for Humanitarian Work and Youth Affairs, Chairman of the Board of Trustees of NVTC, His Highness Sheikh Nasser bin Hamad Al Khalifa, the Nasser Vocational Training Center NVTC hosted a graduation ceremony for its 8th batch for the academic year 2023-24, which included 102 students. His Highness emphasized the role of the youth in contributing to the development of Bahrain across various fields, supported by His Majesty the King meeting with a follow-up of His Royal Highness the Crown Prince Prime Minister. He added that the centre empowers the youth in line with the vision of His Majesty the King through developing their skills. His Highness commended the efforts of NVTC and its institutions in developing competencies, contributing to the innovation of technology and strengthening Bahrain's position on a regional and global scale by achieving international standards. He congratulated the graduating students, wishing them all success. During his speech at the ceremony, the CEO of NVTC, Dr. Abdullah bin Nasser Al-Nuaimi, expressed his appreciation to His Highness Sheikh Nasser for his continuous support to the students and the Bahraini youth. The centre also witnesses the graduation of the first batch of the Technological Innovation Programme, specialising in AI in cloud computing. The public prosecution organised the closing ceremony of a training programme entitled Judicial Enforcement in Financial Crimes Between the Provisions of the Law and Practical Application, in cooperation with the Institute of Judicial and Legal Studies, the Bahrain Institute of Banking and Financial Studies, and the Bahrain Authority for Culture and Antiquities. The Attorney General, Dr. Ali bin Fadl Bouainin, delivered a speech in which he expressed thanks for the contributions of relevant ministries and agencies in holding the programme's activities and supporting it to develop work in confronting crimes and raising the level of cooperation and coordination between the authorities and agencies concerned with combating corruption and financial crimes. He also appreciated the contributions of the lecturers and speakers who enriched these events with their distinguished knowledge and experiences. The Minister of Labour, Chairman of the Board of Directors of the Labour Market Regulatory Authority, LMRA, headed Bahrain's delegation at the 112th International Labour Conference in Switzerland. The Minister said that the comprehensive development process, led by His Majesty the King, with the support of His Royal Highness the Crown Prince Prime Minister, represents the basis and beginning for achieving the principles of social justice, aimed at enhancing levels of social solidarity. He said that within the framework of translating these noble principles, Bahrain prompts to strengthen the establishment of trade union freedoms, tripartisan and social dialogue, and expand social insurance for all workers, pointing to the implementation of the unemployment insurance system and the wage protection program, in addition to the efforts to provide legal protection for the workforce through regulative systems. He also said that the cooperation takes into account the integrated social protection system, which has made Bahrain one of the advanced countries in terms of human development, where global reports have shown Bahrain's progress in human development. The Minister of Sustainable Development, CEO of the Economic Development Board, Noor Al Khalif, received the senior advisor to the Ghanaian President, Special Envoy for International Finance and Investment, Kenneth Nanayao Ofori-Atta. The two sides discussed ways to provide opportunities to increase the exchange of knowledge between parties concerned with promoting investment in both countries and to enhance the growing cooperation between them. This meeting comes within a number of meetings held by the senior advisor during his visit to Bahrain to highlight the importance of continuing to develop bilateral relations by creating development and investment opportunities for mutual benefit. The Minister of Tourism, Chairperson of the Board of Directors of Bahrain Tourism and Exhibitions Authority BTEA, Fatma Al-Sayrafi, held a meeting with a delegation from the World Bank Group headed by the Programme Leader of Sustainable Development, Rafif Abdulrazak. The minister affirmed Bahrain's keenness on exchanging best practices and experiences with the WBG to enhance the sustainability of the tourism sector in Bahrain by launching programs that are in line with the Sustainable Development Goals 2023. She noted that the Tourism Ministry and the BTEA give considerable importance to ensuring that hotel and private tourism establishments adhere to sustainability standards. She stated that Bahrain is keen on supporting international efforts toward enhancing sustainable tourism development and developing initiatives that support creating a sustainable tourism system. During the meeting, the WBG delegation reviewed its efforts and the possibility for the tourism sector to utilize these experiences to enhance tourism development and launch projects that are based on achieving sustainable development. The Supreme Council for Women, the SCW, held its third meeting of the 8th session, chaired by Vice President of the Supreme Council for Women, Sheikha Maryam bint Hassan Al Khalifa, at the Council's headquarters in Rafah. The SCW Vice President conveyed thanks of Her Royal Highness, wife of His Majesty the King, President of the SCW, Princess Sabika bint Ibrahim Al Khalifa, to the members of the 8th session of the Council and praised their role and efforts in enriching its work during this session. The SCW Vice President praised the positive results of the plans and programs that come in cooperation with business partners in all state institutions and their serious efforts to integrate women's need into the development path. She also stressed the importance of continuing hard work to preserve the gains of Bahraini women and the sustainability of their efforts towards national development. She hailed the support of His Majesty the King to the SCW and enhancing its work to continue its effective role in creating an integrated system for women's empowerment and advancement. The SCW took decisions on a number of topics, including the plan on the national celebration of the Silver Jubilee of His Majesty's accession to the throne. The meeting also reviewed the reports of the Council's General Secretariat on a number of topics. The Chinese embassy held a press conference to highlight the successful visit of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa to China, following the invitation of China's President Xi Jinping. We have more in this report with Mohammed Yusuf.
Following the invitation of the Chinese President Xi Jinping, His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa, the president of the current session of the Arab Summit, visited China, in which His Majesty held a number of meetings with Chinese officials. The successful visit included His Majesty's attendance of the 10th Ministerial Session of the Chinese-Arab Cooperation Forum, as well as his meetings with the Premier of the State Council of China, the Speaker of the National People's Congress in China, as well as his meeting with the Chinese President. During a press conference held at the Chinese Embassy in the Kingdom of Bahrain, the Chinese ambassador to Bahrain, Niruchi, praised the fruitful visit of His Majesty the King to China, which affirms the depth of the strong bilateral relations.
In response to the invitation of the Chinese President Xi Jinping, His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa made a state visit to China and attended the opening ceremony of the ministerial meeting of the China-Arab Cooperation Forum. During the visit, the two leaders held official discussions and the Chinese President held an official reception ceremony and a dinner banquet at a higher level for His Majesty during the historic and important visit.
The visit of His Majesty the King was in line with the 35th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between the two countries and resulted in positive outcomes that contribute to further enhance the bilateral relations and opening up new horizons of cooperation between the two friendly countries in the investment, health, advanced technology, commerce, media, tourism, and many other fields, which will further contribute to enhancing the bilateral relations in order to achieve further progress and prosperity for the two friendly countries and their peoples. This press conference sheds light on the visit of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa to China, and the aim of the visit was to reflect the bilateral relations and discuss topics of mutual concern on the regional and global levels. Reporting for Bahrain International, I am Hamad Yusuf.
The Kingdom of Bahrain joins the world in celebrating World Environment Day, which falls on June 5th every year, in an affirmation of Bahrain's continued determination to address the risks of climate change. We have more in this report.
The Kingdom of Bahrain celebrates World Environment Day based on international visions that are compatible with its national development plans and policies, and out of its belief in the importance of international development work, whose goals are consistent with the vision and strategy of the Kingdom of Bahrain 2030, and through the support and care it provides to promote and protect the right to a safe and healthy environment. With this year's celebration, under the slogan of combating desertification, rehabilitating land, and building resilience to drought, the Kingdom is distinguished by its active participation, which has been clearly demonstrated in the ratification of and commitment to international environmental agreements and treaties, and the participation of the international community in programs and projects related to protecting the environment and achieving sustainable development. The Kingdom of Bahrain has adopted and continues to implement many initiatives that achieve sustainable development and economic growth, such as the initiative to reach zero neutrality and increase the green area through many joint efforts between various official bodies. The environmental protection file receives special attention in the Kingdom of Bahrain in order to increase societal and global awareness of the importance of preserving the environment and protecting it from all environmental developments that negatively affect planet Earth.
The National Space Agency Science Agency also marks the World Environment Day to continue raising environmental awareness. We have more in this report.
To achieve sustainable development and enhance collective awareness on the environment, the United Nations was keen on dedicating a day for the environment, as it is a major means of promoting environmental awareness worldwide and of protecting the environment. The Kingdom of Bahrain, represented by the National Space Science Agency, joined the world in celebrating this day, out of its keenness to support all strategies to sustainably achieve the UN developmental goals, taking immediate measures to address climate change. The NSSA affirmed that all parties are collectively committed to afforestation, which has resulted in achieving tangible results by planting trees, promoting their growth, and taking important steps toward combating the effects of climate change. The United Nations Environment Programme announced that the theme of this year's World Environment Day is linked to three main goals within the Sustainable Development Goals, including ensuring the availability of water and sanitation services for all and managing them sustainably. The second goal is taking urgent measures to address climate change and its effects, and the third is protecting and restoring terrestrial ecosystems and promoting their sustainable use.